Association, NIGA, which is always a huge issue for Indian country, and he's accompanied by Jason as well. Ernie Stevens, Jr.
In the spirit of time, I'm going to ask Jason to come up and take us through our subcommittee, to summarize that real quick, and then I have a brief presentation.
Thank you, Chairman Stevens. I'll be brief. First off, let me thank NCAI staff and Kevin's first NCAI annual conference. This has been a great conference. The staff has been extremely helpful. We've noticed some changes at the committee level that we really appreciate. So on behalf of Chairman Stevens and I, we really appreciate the staff's hard work on this one. Even bringing up our shirts today from downstairs, got a hand from them. So thank you so much for your efforts here. It's been great. And just briefly, at our tribal gaming subcommittee, we touched on two issues, sports betting being one. And if you're a tribe in a state where they're considering sports betting, right now we have Mississippi Choctaw and Mississippi doing sports betting. And then right here in New Mexico, we have 3 pueblos that have instituted sports betting. We really encourage you to look at the models that these tribes are forging ahead with, because it is a new and innovative entertainment option and has the ability to basically transport Indian gaming into that next generation of gamblers, whether it's esports, online and mobile. So there was a lot of discussion of that, and we're going to be releasing some papers on that as we move forward. Just to give you more information on where the sports betting issue rests right now. There's a lot of talk of federal legislation, but with the impeachment going on, and you heard other folks say November 21st is the deadline to get the government funding again. It's hard to see that rising to the level anytime soon, but it is being discussed out there. Secondly, December 2nd and 3rd is the big TTAC meeting in DC, and unfortunately the first one was right during NIGA's mid-year, but we will be there. We will be supporting a lot of those issues on the kiddie tax and other new market tax credits, low-income tax credits. There is an opportunity within this narrow window before the presidential election next year to get something positively done for Indian country on the taxes. And we just have to push through. We have a lot of support in the House, and we have a lot of friends in the Senate that will make this happen. So, on behalf of Ron Allen and the TTAC, we're going to be right there and advocating this and trying to get this done for Indian country before the presidential election next year. Very important. Beyond that, NIGA, we're coming to the close of the year here. We have our trade show in April. But please reach out, contact us. The Native vote, we're redoubling our efforts this time around for Native votes. We felt like it fell off a little bit last time, yes. And the numbers showed that the percentage of minority voters was down last time. We're not going to let that happen again. And we're jumping early on this issue. So Chairman Stevens will say more about that, but please take some shirts over there. They're for everybody in attendance. We'll have some at our full committee meeting this afternoon as well with Mr. Eckelhoff. But thank you very much, Chairman Stevens.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Okay, can you give Jason a big round of applause? He's a United States Marine Corps veteran, captain, retired, as a lawyer, and somebody who works every day on the front line in Washington, D.C. And has to work with me every day. So he deserves applause just by that, all by itself. So don't help me, Ron. Okay, so I want to try to wrap my speech around the vote. And so we have our shirts over there. We're going to have some more at the full committee. And what I've got here is my T-shirt. It's an XL tall, I think. No, it's a 4X. 4 directions. So we're really working hard on the vote. We really want to talk about that today. And so we asked Chairman Dave Mead to provide this model for you. He can only fit this shirt in the biceps, other than it'd be too big for him. Okay. He's my boss. I got to be nice to him. So anyway, this get out and vote thing is important to us, and I really want to try to talk to you about that. But before I do that, I want to tell you this is my, since 1993, I made every NCAI winter executive session, every mid-year, and every annual conference since 1993. So I don't know how many conferences I have not made. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud to be a protege of the late Juanita Otto, my teacher, my mentor, one of the most beautiful, hardworking, and serious people that you'll ever know. And I just wanted to just take a second to acknowledge her. So with that, I wanted to just tell you just briefly, with this Get Out and Vote initiative, you know, we're fresh off our mid-year conference, and we're at the beautiful Mohegan Sun Casino. Mohegan Tribe of Connecticut hosted us an amazing conference and an amazing facility, and something that all of Indian gaming can be proud of. Also fresh off the G2E. G2E last week is the biggest gaming show in the world. Indian country makes up over 40% of that show. And I've had to help tell all those people that run this big giant show how to do the math. Indian country is now the more dominant force, $39.1 billion industry. We have the largest numbers overall in the United States of America, and we are now the experts. So before we used to borrow from Vegas and different places like that, and we used to look to them. Now they look to us and we share, because we're a dominant force in this gaming industry in a very, very positive way. So I wanted to say that much about that. The Get Out and Vote initiative that we're trying to project is amazing. Going back to our mid-year, we honored Helen Bryan. Now, Helen Bryan was the plaintiff in Bryan versus Itasca County. And that case that was won by Helen Bryan, just a lady protecting her property on the Leech Lake Reservation, went all the way to the Supreme Court. It helped us to win the case. It helped us to be where we are today in overall Indian gaming. We honored her, the tribal elder from Leech Lake. It was an amazing presentation. You could see that giant and beautiful picture on my Facebook. So I wanted to mention her this morning because of her historic impact in Indian gaming. She's just an Indian lady from the res. And she just happy and smiling. We gave her a gift, and then the tribe flew her out to Connecticut, and we had a beautiful time. And she just, all she wanted to do is protect her right to live in her property and protect her right from any encroachment. She did that, and all of us, $39.1 billion industry, continued to thrive because she held her ground. So, give her a big round of applause. So, you know, in the 2020 election, you know, one of the things I've been saying also, and I don't want to say this angry because I've not been angry. I'm not one of these guys that has been rude to the president or say bad things about the president. You know, I did that back in the 90s when he was after some of our folks. But he's worked in our industry before. He knows our industry, he knows gaming. So I'm not somebody it's not my job to be antagonistic or angry. It's my job to represent all of you to get a message across. And so my message again, as I said at the our mid-year, for all those Native American folks that stood by Donald Trump, for all those Native professionals and activists that said he was going to help us change our economy, help us and care about our economies and care about our home communities, and help us get us to a point where we can be in a better economic state and position in Indian country. All those folks, they signed on to a letter. And so what I've done is in a good way, maybe I am calling you out, I don't know, but I'm not trying to do it mean spirited. I'm asking for help. Those people that said that they think that Trump was going to do good by Indian country, they need to step up and help us. And we cannot give up on this administration. We cannot afford to be angry at this administration. We can be frustrated, we get out and do our work, and we assert ourselves. But if we get angry and step away, then it's a waste of our time. So I continue to pledge to you that we're going to continue to call those people out on the carpet in this administration and ask them to do what they promised to do, and that's help move Indian country forward. The Indian folks that were a part of that team, they need to step up and help us get to the front line on this. And again, I want to say that in a good way. I don't want to criticize anybody, and the least of which the President of the United States of America. But I will not hesitate to say to him or anybody else that supports him, he's got a lot of work to do and a lot of appreciation to do as it relates to Indian country. We're going to continue to be on his doorstep. So with the Get Out and Vote initiative, you know, my colleague has this shirt that we're promoting. We started this My Vote Counts, and we're really calling on young ambassadors to help us with this My Vote Counts. Because even if you can't vote, you can drive people to the polls. You can help people understand the need to register to vote. And I think you've heard it here, that there's 6 states are swing states, and several of those states, they have any country's influence, be it population or gaming or employment, some kind of factor. We can swing those states, and if you don't believe it, 2020 is the time to try to prove it, and it takes work. Things don't just happen because they're facts. We have to work to do that. So this My Vote Counts, we started it last week at G2E, and a young lady who is a 3-time world champion in rodeo, her name is Faith Holion. She's the one that is our first ambassador for My Vote Counts. And so she already rode the banner in the rodeo going on right now, and Chairman Bean is dispatching and going to the rodeo to help to take this initiative forward. And so we're going to stretch out every place we can. Rodeo, powwow, Indian country, non-Indian, wherever we can, because we want to make a difference. And so we're asking you, all the folks here at the National Congress of Immigrant Americans, to help us to create more men and women ambassadors so that we can do our best to get folks out to vote. And so help Faith, she's our first ambassador. She's a Navajo member, and she's like I said, a 3-time world champion. She's currently in her 2nd year in college. She's on a full ride scholarship at Weatherford College, full ride rodeo scholarship. And again, at like not even 20 years old. She's a 3-time world champion, and she's riding that Get Out and Vote, National Indian Gaming Association, My Vote Count. That banner is all over the rodeo in Las Vegas. So again, help us support Faith. And let me tell you why that makes a difference, and then I'll conclude. $87 billion value in our industry. Over $23 billion goes directly to the reservations from our casinos. $64 billion of that goes off the reservation. I think it's really important to understand our impact, our economic force, but we also have to appreciate and understand how we can get some more of that $64 billion to stay on the reservation, to resonate within our own reservation economy. So that's something that's important to us. 767,000 jobs. Half of those are directly in gaming, and the other half are an offshoot of gaming. We are an economic force, and we have to make sure we do that. We're like the 14th highest employer of all the United States of America, up there with Target and all these big employers. We're number 14. Indian country's number 14 in the United States. We need to work that way. We need to get those employees, those people are working. We need them to get out and vote. I think that I just want to skip through this because I know we have a busy afternoon. And I think that the way I'll finish again is Jefferson here? Okay, Jefferson's right on time. So the way I want to finish is I think in a manner that Juanita would appreciate. Because Juanita was friends with my father. And she's the one that my record of over a quarter century, every single meeting is blown away by Juanita Otton. And with her passing, I can start to try to get to her record. Nobody spent more time at NCAI than Juanita Otton. But as much as beautiful as she was, as educating as she was, and as caring, kind, and humble, and never shy as she was, she would tell you like it is. She was a teacher, she was a mentor, she didn't mess around. And I did that once. I tried to get a resolution passed the deadline. She said, I don't care. She knew my dad. She loved my dad too. And so she said, I don't care if you're Ernie Stevens Sr.'s son. You don't get any resolution past the deadline. So it was much more graphic than that. So I never tried it except for my team later in 2001 with NIGA. When I transitioned to NIGA, my team tried it. And I don't know, they deny that, Jason denies that they used my name. But we got it again, so I got it twice. But with that, I wanted to just say, Juanita's shining down on us, and she's looking out after us. If you hear the presentation, and I've heard all these presentations, but I heard Kevin Allis, who's my good friend I've known for many years, and Jefferson Keel, who is my mentor, my big brother. I heard them speak to get us started, and it really created an energy and a buzz for me in my heart. Their words resonate in my heart every day this week. And I really think that it's Juanita is that is shining down on us and helping us understand where we have to go. And this is the oldest, largest, and most powerful organization in Indian history. And it's because of all of you and these leaders. So I stand by Kevin Alice and Jefferson Keel, now Quan Sharp. Congratulations, Quan Sharp, wherever you are. This is an amazing and beautiful and powerful organization, and I stand here today to testify to that and thank you for your leadership. And again, ask for your help. Vote 2020 and everything we do. Patience and kindness, but just like when they did Autumn, if people think they're going to run us over, they got another thing coming. Any country is powerful. So with that, I want to present our Get Out and Vote shirt. We're going to have to squeeze into that. And then we'll get you stuff.
I'll take that.
Yeah, you're the one that's going to reply.
Oh, you wore it?
Yeah, no. There's a little saying in the bicep, but it's tight around. It's got the Alfred Hitchcock. But I'm sorry. At this time, my good friend and my mentor, Jefferson Keel, has done a lot of great, amazing things over his career. And go right down the line of his career in the military and the things he's done. But one of the things he's done for me is helped me to understand appreciate the need for leadership, patience, and kindness, and understanding, and going forward, doing what you have to do on behalf of the leadership. And he's really helped me to understand that. So, on behalf of the National Indian Gaming Association and our member tribes, we present to you this gift today, this shirt, and this blanket for one of the most prolific leaders in Indian history, Mr. Jefferson Keel. So I have the Vice Chairman Bean here, and I have to admit, I wore purple on accident because I like purple, and it's the tribal colors. But Dave wears it today, and I'm going to tell everybody I see that I wear it because Dave wears it, but it's Domestic Violence Awareness Day. So another amazing message for families getting together. Yeah, and a man brought it up right here. So we're going to ask you to stand with us, and then I have, at this time, I present on behalf of the National Indian Gaming Association, the 2019 Chairman's Leadership Award to President Jefferson Keel.